So it's a bird, it's a plane, it's a drone delivery. You know, Amazon is trying to get it so they can deliver to your backyard. FAA has a problem with that right now. But this is actually really awesome technology because in Malawi, in Bhutan, in 2 other countries I'm not going to remember, they're actually doing medical deliveries, medical drops into remote areas with very large drones that take these things in there and drop a bunch of medical supplies in places that it's very difficult to get medical supplies. So that use of these is amazing. There's legislation right now being formed, if you wish, to sell your data to Facebook or to Google or to whoever wants to buy your data. If you own your data, this is how it should work, you should own your data and you should do whatever you want with it. Right now, they own your data and all those things you sign when you log into Facebook and all those approvals and those things you sign when you log into Google, give them your data. That you give them permission to look at all your pictures and use them any way they want and market with them and all that kind of stuff. But if this legislation passes, which seems unlikely now, but it's something that's on the table and will continue to be on the table, and you own your own data, it puts a responsibility on you, but it also puts a profit center on you. There will be people that say, yeah, I'll give you all the same rights. In fact, I would say there's a very large group of people that will give away their data. You know, I'll let you have my data because it's a benefit to me. You'll tell me what to buy, and I get some money out of it. Right now, the same thing exists. We're already doing it. We agree to use Facebook for the price of our data. That's the agreement. That's the arrangement. I go into Facebook, and I know they take my data. Right? I know they have the rights to my photos. I know they know where I am. I know that they're tracking me. Soon, hopefully, that's not the case. Now, if that's not the case, what happens to those? What happens to Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google? They're no longer as powerful as they were. They don't have the same profit center as they do now. That's driven markets. So I think this is the big battle that's coming up in Congress. And this is something that we all should pay real close attention to and talk to our congresswomen about. So this is fun, and this is about innovation. There's a new technology that, so when snow falls, it gives off an electrical charge. Interesting, right? So there's a group in UCLA trying to capture the electrical charge in snow attached to solar panels. So when the solar panels aren't collecting solar energy, they're collecting snow energy. It's just a little bit, it's not as much energy, but they're developing it, and there's so many innovations out there that boggle the mind that there's going to be a lot of stuff that keeps coming down that benefits the planet, that works for the world, that makes our lives easier, that clothes are going to fit better, shoes are going to fit. All these things are coming, and they keep coming, they keep getting better. So there's no reason to think that innovation stops. This is just one example of that.
We just have to presume there'll be snow.
In parts of the country, there'll be snow. Other parts, lots of solar. We talked about this, 2% growth for the foreseeable future. This is the Congressional Budget Office saying for the next 10 years, we expect a cap, 2% growth. That's what we can expect. Actually, they say 1.7 for the next 10 years. And that seems right in line to me. In 2040, one retired person for 5 people working. In 2060, that's going to be 1 in 4. So that bulge is an aging economy. The largest growing demographic is the centenarians. Many of you will get to 100 years old, and it's not even a surprise anymore. We see them all the time. I have a dozen clients that are in their late 90s, 97, 98, 99. Many of them still go to the grocery store. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Impossible 20 years ago. And this is the life cycle, right? The blue line, the bell curve is income. The jagged line goes up from left to right, is consumption. So when you're below 20 and you're consuming your parents' income, right? And then you earn your own, and over that line, that's the amount of money you save for the future, generally. And then when you're 70 plus or 65 plus, you continue to consume. You actually consume more, healthcare. You consume more, but hopefully that money you've saved is what falls into that space. So populations grow, GDP and national income grow will slow, right? Because more people are leaving the workforce and relying upon the work of the rest. That's why in 2060, that 4-to-1 number is pretty rough. So the next couple of years, are we going to see any major legislation? No. It's going to be a whole lot of noise. Nothing is going to happen. You never get economists to agree on anything. This was an economic survey in mid-2018 of all the economists. And 100% of them say nothing's going to get done in the next 2 years. That never happens. There you have it. We'll see if they're right or not. Probably right. Okay, let's look at some risks. These are pretty obvious, I think, probably. We have 5 interesting tensions: Gulf tensions, which we know about, Iran, trade tensions, which we know about, European fragmentation, which is picking up a lot with the new election in the UK, US-China competition, and now South Asian tension. These are the newest things. These are the things that are probably the most scary. The Gulf tensions, it's just very quickly, when you think about oil, and they've all agreed to limit their production for a little while longer, from 2017 till today, all the increase in oil usage around the planet has been filled by US drilling and manufacturing and creation of oil. Fracking's part of it. There's a lot of ways we get oil. But so the growth of our production dwarfs their limiting of production. So there isn't a reason to think that oil is going to spike. And the reason I say that is because one of the biggest causes of recessions is an oil spike. It seems very unlikely. We are not even producing at capacity. We have a whole bunch of these rig things that are shut down because the price isn't high enough to justify running them. They're expensive to run. So the minute the price ticks up a little bit, those come online. When supply goes up, what happens to price? Price goes down. So it doesn't look like an oil spike is in our future. So today on Wall Street, yesterday's panic selling was replaced by panic buying. Why I say that is because here's 2 headlines, 2 days apart, one World Bank, one IMF, saying global growth is going to be weaker, global growth is going to be stronger. They both say global growth is going to be 2.6%. It has to do with your expectations going in. Wherever you had set your sights before, it's the change, the delta from that. It's very difficult to take anything as reality when all these people talk. So this we talked a little bit about before. CEOs are waiting. They're sitting on their hands. When there's some guidance on what tariffs are going to look like, they will begin investing. One of the slowest areas of economic growth in the GDP numbers has been business investment. We had a short spike, a wonderful spike in the last quarter, fourth quarter last year, first quarter this year, with post-tax cuts. Everyone thought it was going to be, we're going to see business investment. It was going to be fantastic. But then the tariffs hit, and he creates his own problems and it's very difficult to watch. So we always stay the course. All this stuff is there. It's happening. Market's gotten ahead of the Fed. The Fed's going to act in a couple days. We're going to see what they do. 25 basis points, 50 basis point decline. Hopefully it provides some calm in the markets. It's definitely going to give equity markets a feeling of we have some more upside. Steady growth, 2%. We talked about this a lot. 2%, 2%, 2%. And it doesn't, the thing I want to be clear about here is it doesn't look like it's going to go below that. We have a very natural slowdown that's being discussed in the media as a potential end of the world. It doesn't look like it's going to go below that. We have a lot of positive. Consumers are very, very strong. I hope you got that flavor from net wealth statistics, from employment statistics, from earning statistics. The consumer is incredibly strong. And we're talking all the consumers are incredibly strong globally. It's doing very well. Lots of old, lots of new. In all this market stuff, the most important thing is we have a plan in place that talks about the kind of portfolio you should have and that we stick to that portfolio. If you have a question about how much risk you're taking, or maybe you're worried about that risk level, or you want to see how some of these scenarios play out for you specifically, please call us and let us talk through those kinds of things, because it's not the market decline that really hurts you. It's the surprise about the market decline that hurts you. And it could happen. We could see a decline here in the next 2-3 years. I actually am not worried about it. It doesn't look like we have anything like 2008 or 2000 coming out. It doesn't look like that's the reality. We have such a slow growth for the last decade. I think that slow growth can continue. That's everything I have. I'm happy to answer some questions. Thanks very much. Go ahead.